I like the garden.
I'd like to try your interview again, actually.
From the top?
Stella interview, take one. Listen.
Yes. And then where do I sit? Just up here?
Just shake that? Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
Alright. Hey, Samuel. Hello?
Okay. Hi, I am Ronald Kennedy Root. I was the editor of Hills, and right now I am the cinematographer of Valleys. I worked on trying to keep the Hills project not sinking as fast as it did.
I am the editor for Valleys, and in Hills I had the displeasure of being the cinematographer.
Hello, I'm Ben Purvis, taller Ben. I used to have the better hair, but it's not debatable here. I was the director for Hills.
I am Miss Howard, and I am the film teacher here at Port Moody Secondary School.
I'm Ben Crawley. I was the sound designer in Hills, and I am the director, a firm director for this project, Valleys.
I'm Stella. I have a dog, and I'm a student at PMSS. I'm a guest, and I was the writer, and I also act.
So just getting right into it, what was the original assignment for this project?
It was an adaptation. We were in our script writing unit, and it was an adaptation project. So you were tasked with finding a piece of writing that already exists and converting it into a screenplay. That was the origin of it.
What was the original script that you had pitched?
The original script that I had pitched for our final project last year was a film about Spider-Man and him basically dealing with the fact he was about to get killed and him trying to get help. It was based off of a comic book run in the 90s, and it was very popular at the time.
Both of my scripts were impossible to film with what we had, and so the one I did pitch was like a half animation, half real life thing, following a guy who has heartburn, and it's inside his stomach. It was inspired by Osmosis Jones. I don't know if you know that, but it's like a movie about a amoeba in the human body that is like a secret agent.
The script I pitched was it's called Big Digits, and it was a gambling film, and it was these two guys who were at a table, and they were kind of fighting each other, and one of them ends up killing each other and stuff like that. It was a pretty good film. I think it would have been way easier to film compared to Hills, in my opinion.
It was kind of inspired by Fight Club, but I decided one night, kind of came to me, it was a calling that I had to write it entirely in Russian to give it that gritty, dialogue and effect to it. And so it was about these two men who were fighting in a boxing ring.
And then this other guy named Nikolai shows up, and that's when Igor wins. And he's like, what? That's crazy. He's like, can you teach me? And so he becomes a mentor to him. He thinks in his neurotic that he's saving people.
I like for people to see my play or production and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? That makes me feel good. I'm like, wow, I really just disturbed you, Yeah.
Okay,
I wasn't originally in the group, and can you just relay what I was tasked with originally?
So you, Ben, were in Japan.
Yes.
And I was tasking you with a project that you could complete while you were away.
So I was working on a project called Ichiban number 1. And that was kind of about this one guy living in a very homologous society. Everything's going very fast. And I feel all of that. Like, I still all have that footage from Japan. I just haven't found a way to incorporate it into something yet because I'm working on quite a few projects. There's a bit of things to figure out first.
Nothing happened with that or to that. Flatline heart rate. So.
I dropped it because I was like, this isn't gonna work out. I need to pass ID Phil. What was the inspiration behind the script? Why did you write it?
She gave us an adaptation assignment, right? So obviously I'm gonna look for like short stories that has a lot of meat to it. So I went back to Ernest Hemingway. I was also into K-dramas at the time. I still am, but so I wanted to write romance, but I think, yeah.
Did you see any potential in this film when the concept was first pitched to you? And were there any issues that you noticed right off the hop?
Yeah, I saw a lot of potential. I thought it was a really interesting concept. I thought it dealt with some more mature subject matter, which, you know, can lead to a more interesting or in-depth story. And that's really, it was nice to see things pushed in that direction.
So when that wasn't decided, was Hills your first choice script?
No.
Hills was really on the last of my choices. Of course, I pitched my idea to everyone, and they're like, this guy's like a little...
Hills was my first choice and for my first group.
Why was that?
The way it was first structured, I was with a different group. Me and Stella were both with.
And you'd still pick it?
I still picked. I like those. You know, it was a good film and it had a lot of heart. Well, you read the edited version, but the original was very personal, and it would have been a very good if we could have done it.
Personally, I would have really liked to do Ben's film.
The next one that I wanted to do was Big Digits. I love gambling. I love topics of that. Ben Purvis kind of thought up that idea, and I was like, this is sweet. Like, we can really, like, yeah, men, we can work on gambling. Like, that would be awesome. But somehow we ended up with Hills. You wrote 15 drafts of this script.
No, more.
More. Okay. How about...
I lost track. I can't lie. Some of them I don't even know what we were changing.
I feel like a lot of them changed too little details.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really annoying because obviously too I had to write the shot lists for the scenes, and so I kept having to update the shot list, the new shots that she was asking for.
I feel like it would have been better. Like, I get some revisions have to be made on a film that's necessary, but we were getting revisions every time we pretty much showed up to class, and I feel like it was hurting the group because we were never doing the same thing. We were never building. We were always going to have to start fresh.
At what point did you feel like it was ready? Do you think it actually ever was?
It was ready. I was just never supposed to act. It wasn't ready because I acted it. It was so good until I acted it.
Probably just to be fair, I think it was a sinking ship since the second that script was written. Other people disagree, and that's completely fine. Everyone's allowed to have a different opinion. I disliked that script from the very beginning. But I didn't like it. I wanted to work on Big Digits. Were there any issues that you had foreseen prior to the production itself, like with the group, the logistics, and all like during the filming process?
I would say organization. I don't think we were reading the pre-production checklists. I don't think we were following through on stepping up in our responsibilities.
Did you say you're a freeloader? Definitely during Hills, but so were you. That whole project was freeloaded. Would you not agree?
I would disagree. I think Rowan and Purvis carried the project actually.
Why were you so passive during the production of Hills?
You know, that is a good question. I do ask myself that. I think I took out the anger on the project because I really wanted to do big digits. I think a few other people might have wanted to too. And yeah, I just slacked a lot.
Okay. You were apparently the most active person in this infamous group chat. What was the vibe in there?
Don't get me started on that. We were all at each other's throats at parts. Sam and Stella would have fights about the script being rewritten every day. Me and Crowley got sidetracked on a few fights randomly. I crashed out at everyone at one point because we did nothing. There were times when someone wouldn't show up when we needed them. We just were very disorganized and were very upset with how it was going.
When Stella messaged you about missing equipment on the day after shooting, on the day of shooting after school, what was your initial response to that?
I mean, at that point, it's just. I think I had a moment of like, of course. It was a bit unorganized and frenetic leading up to that. But at that point, it's just throw it in my trunk and meet you guys. And hopefully we can salvage some hours of the evening that you have carved out and have dedicated. But I arrived on the scene and the bags were not attended to, and my teacher heart was pounding and my teacher's stomach dropped. He was unimpressed.
Take one. Oh, wait. That was going to be so tough. C2, take one.
How did you feel when you were cast as the boy of Hills?
Well, honestly, I didn't think I'd be even close to filling in that role. But we were on set, and I had it originally, like that day when Stella said I should do it, and then I almost got kicked out because apparently my acting was that bad.
Ben! What the fuck?
Okay,
We just said don't do it.
keep rolling. Try again. No.
From position.
Rowan, your editor, was going to fill in for me, but then we ended up switching back to me, and we struggled through it. We struggled through the day.
What happened with the original actors that made you end up acting?
I don't know. I never casted them. It was just I was never supposed to act. He was never supposed to act.
Ben Purvis was never supposed to act.
Yeah, you were supposed to act.
I disliked that script from the very beginning.
No, you were. I wrote this, and I was like, this role is perfect for Ben Crowley, not Ben Purvis.
As one of the main characters and writer of the film, how do you feel about its production cycle?
I think the writer could have wrote a better script because I didn't know the writer will act.
I mean, you are the writer. That's fine, though. How do you feel like it's going so far? You're doing amazing, by the way.
I think the acting's kind of screwed.
How did you feel when Rowan and Sam bullied you for your acting on set and almost did get you fired from your role?
I was hurt. I took it pretty personal because I thought I was doing a pretty good job.
The moment that I realized it was going downhills was when Purvis was doing like when he was emoting.
What are you doing?
You're sabotaging.
Ben, this is a real film.
That first scene, now after reviewing the footage, it was a little lackluster performance for me. I look like a Roblox character.
No! Sorry, one more time. Sorry, we're redoing that. We're redoing that. Okay, you just hold this.
This is the first scene of the movie.
Seriously, Ben, we might have to fire you now.
I don't know. I feel like the role that I was put in, I was not capable of filling. And, you know, I don't know what I could have done. You know, I feel I'm not professional by any means, but I definitely could have done a way better job.
No! One more time. No standing and then going like this.
How did you feel about your performance?
Good.
You thought it was good?
Don't you think?
No?
It was good.
By the way.
Acting's kind of screwed.
My performance was good. My memorization was bad.
How did you feel about the film mid-shoot?
Well, after the whole debacle of getting my camera bag back, on the day of shooting, I arrived to school, I got off the bus, and I didn't realize that I left my camera bag sitting on one of the seats. I checked through my backpack, and I realized, oh my god, it's not there. And so I was freaking out. I called my dad, I called my mom. I'm like wandering around the school thinking, what the hell are we gonna do? We were filming in the back of Henderson Place Mall, near the grocery store. I got the notification that the transit supervisor had my bag and was heading towards my location. And all of a sudden when I got that notification, I kind of just sped off and ran to the other side of the mall without alerting anybody. And then I got up to the bus station, and the transit supervisor pulled up and handed me my bag and then drove away, basically. And then, so I came running back. I feel like mid-shoot, I was already starting to see the cracks, I would say.
You know, it was really rough at first. You know, it started to get better. You know, the convenience store wasn't that bad, but and then it went downhill again. You know, it's like we went down a hill, ironically. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
I tried to keep like a jovial attitude. I tried to you know, push through, but you know, I felt like even though the convenience store scene was the best scene we shot, or on that day, I felt like there was still a lot of problems.
We shot something. It was like a blooper reel, pretty much. It was just a bunch of insert shots, and then a few close-up shots. Ben and Stella.
Hear me out. I think it was good because I thought my performance was good.
Convenience store I felt was pretty vibey. It's pretty fun. I liked that we had that space with the blank wall backdrop. I thought Ben was doing a pretty good job. And Stella for that part. I just think, like, listening, like, as I'm listening to the sound, and I'm like, these are the lines.
Has it gone better or worse?
Better.
Better? That's good.
It started like going really downhill when he asked me, how about a ginger ale?
You know, the convenience store, I think it went pretty well. There's a fan favorite scene of mine there with the ginger ale. It was almost like we did a sponsored ad there. How about a ginger ale?
Some of the shots looked a little bit inconsistent. That cashier looked straight at the camera. Yeah, so I was already feeling like this is it's not going in a good direction.
Would you agree it's better than the park scene?
Yeah, it's much better. It's not good, but it's better.
That park scene was probably, if not the worst thing I've ever contributed to in my entire creative career, you know?
The best part of the park scene is walking to the park to film that and walking away from the park. That's how bad.
Nothing to do with the park.
Nothing to do with the park.
If you look across the water, you can see those three slackers taking their sweet time on making me take all this equipment. They say I don't pull my own work around here.
What was so horrible about the park, though?
You know, the scripts were in scene, the clapper was in scene, you know, everything that you don't want to have in scene was in scene. The acting was horrible now that I'm looking at it, so.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Just drop out, bro. No more homework.
It took so long to film that in one take, it starts off sunny and is almost nighttime by the end of it. Like this conversation that's only 30 seconds is 3 hours long. There's inconsistencies, like 1 second the drink is here, the next it's there. It's not focused in some areas. Audio was gone, went boom. For one part, you can see my shadow just completely on top of Ben and Stella as they're acting.
Stella made it very, very clear that she wanted a rack shot. What I originally thought was going to happen was there was the bottle of ginger ale, and then there was the sunset, and I racked from the ginger ale to the sunset. But Stella was like, no, that wouldn't make sense because Boy and her were supposed to be walking off to the bus station. That was the idea. And if I did that, I wouldn't get them walking off.
It's not really a good rack focus, to be honest.
So then I was like, okay, fine. And so I reset up the shot, and it ended up being me racking from the bottle of ginger ale to some random lady sitting on the side of the amphitheater. I still have nightmares about that. That image of that random lady sitting there is burned into my brain. I can't get rid of it.
Can you describe what your washroom scene was like?
Awkward a bit. Weird going into the girls' washroom. Not something I ever wanted to do or to do again. It was the best scene in the film by a long shot.
And who would we owe that to?
Miss Out easily. Definitely not Crawley. And it was a very...
I'm sick of you, Rowan.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. You know, we had Ben here and Rowan. They were in a stall together, and then we also had Miss Howard actually doing sound effects in the stall for Stella. So that was something. And then I was clapping, and I had to do the splits every time, and that was a bit painful. But yeah, the washroom scene. If you looked at the washroom scene, you would think the rest of the film was good, but no.
I think it was the one thing where everything went right. It did take an ungodly amount of takes, but I had to use the gimbal to get a tracking shot, and I think that went very well. I think it was very smooth after all the kinks were worked out. But also, that happened to be the one scene where Miss Howard was there to actually make sure everything went smoothly. So,
as both the writer and the main actor, how did you feel watching your own vision be executed or not executed?
So
It was executed. It was executed. I watched the whole thing. It was executed. I was just never supposed to act.
But you think if someone replaced you, that film would have been good? Like really, like think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Any editing decisions, Rowan, that you'd maybe like to explain or defend, although, as a given, none of them are explainable or defendable at all. But you can try. You can try your best.
There's a lot I can try to defend, like the color grading or the lack of it. I didn't do much to the film that way because the ship had already sunk. We had already hit rock bottom. There was no saving it. And by that time, it was late at night, and I knew this wasn't going to be good. We were failing this. I even called the project Better Luck Next Time because there was nothing to save with this.
What was your first reaction when you saw the rough cut?
Unbelievable. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss of words. You know, I feel bad for Rowan, you know, he had to spend all night just looking at that monstrosity and trying to salvage it. You know, he did a pretty good job for what he had in his hands.
Okay, so what I thought was the color grading was interesting. And like, why is there in the middle of the film, there's this like 10-minute long sequence of grass and music. So yeah, I have a lot of questions.
I was horrified. It was an abomination. It's really hard to speak about because it was just so bad. I felt like I had to take a shower after watching it because I felt dirty, you know? I felt unclean after viewing that piece of subhuman filth that we put out in the world. That we were responsible for that. And that was the worst part, you know? I was at the edge, man.
What was your first reaction? This is a very important question. What was your first reaction when you saw the roof?
Oh man. It started immediately with, I think my face was like, one of my first thoughts was, why are we using the Barbie font for the title sequence and the chirons? Didn't understand that. Which also was like, contributing to this whole, did they know what they were doing? Do they know what the story is?
I only watched the Ken scenes of the Barbie movie, and I didn't know that was the font. If you go into Google and search up Hills type fonts, that shows up, okay? I didn't know it wasn't labeled the Barbie font in bright letters. It said Hills, so I was like, hey, that works. And I had it cleared with a few people who had seen the Barbie movie, and they were like, yeah, that's a good font. That works, that's fine.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed at all. I think because I've seen you guys do independent work and really nail it. And unfortunately, you know, sometimes you swing and you hit, and sometimes you swing and you miss. And that project was a swing and a miss. Yeah, no, I called a meeting. I called a family meeting immediately. That was necessary in my mind.
Miss Howard watches 70-80% of it, and then she pauses it.
Miss Howard formed a tribunal circle, and
I didn't want you guys to think that level or that lack of commitment is okay for yourselves to continue. I could see that you were not proud of yourselves going into that, and I think there was a moment to remind you that this project should not define you, and yet we need to take a moment with it and really reflect. And
she looks at all of us and she's like, I'm very disappointed in you guys. And she, you know, she's a good teacher, and she needed to tell us that. That was very necessary to happen.
It was not our proudest moment, and I felt more ashamed when Mr. Smith watched that afterwards, because he had us in grade 9, and it felt like we had regressed at a certain point.
So disappointed. I can't believe that was me. I did that. I put that out in the world. I was responsible for it.
To be honest, I didn't really think, because I was wearing a t-shirt then, but then the AC was really cold. So I just thought like it was really cold and I need to get out of this class.
So that's the only thing you remember?
Like I wore, it was a really hot day, right? It was during the summer. I was wearing shorts. It was a spirit day, I think. It was like a beach day or something. So I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I was freezing. The AC was hitting my head.
I just remember like You know the meme of the gif of Homer Simpson backing out into the bush? That's how I felt in that moment.
Shit, to be honest, I felt like shit. And just going through like the next, I felt like, I don't know, like, I'm like traumatized from it, honestly.
This thing, like, I was gonna ask what went wrong, but that's clearly an unnecessary question to ask.
Everything went wrong, Ben. You don't understand. It was the whole thing. It all went wrong.
You know, the question we should be asking is what went right. I don't think we can name anything that went right. What we could do better? You look at the concept, it was there, but I don't know how you execute it. As like teenagers, you just can't do it.
But if we're really breaking it down, what could have gone better is the script, writing, the acting, the scripts being in frame, audio being in the park scene. When Stella says, I like the garden, and it pans to nothing, that could have been fixed. What went wrong and what could have gone better, Stella?
I'm assuming it's you acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You know, I didn't think I would ever touch this project again, but you know, we're here. My main takeaway though is we gotta do a lot better. I personally know I didn't do a lot. I gotta admit that. You know, I could pull my weight better in other projects. Maybe don't touch certain topics, as I said before. You know, that was an interesting one.
I just need to do something different. And I feel like I am now, and I feel like I'm able to help with something like this and contribute to something that is great closure for everybody. But I would say that things need to change, and I just need to be more proactive. You know, I just need to be, you know, like Quentin Tarantino says it best. He says, don't just like talk about making a movie, make a movie. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I feel like this is something we're really passionate about, this project. Yeah. What is the main takeaway or lesson that you've learned from what is written in here as a disaster?
It's not a disaster. Like I've said before, it's good. Like, I don't think why...
I feel like you're lying to yourself.
I'm not. Because I don't know why it's bad. Maybe I just have, like, low standards. But I think it was good. It was not bad. Okay, it wasn't good, but it's not a disaster. After this, I realized I don't want to work in a group anymore. Not saying, like, you guys are bad. Not a thing. Like, I don't want to work in a group. And, like, also, I was considering to go into film, but then that was when I started to go downhills. Thinking maybe it's not the road I want to go. Yeah.
Probably.
You want to enunciate that a little louder, Rowan Root?
Oh, okay. Probably Crawley's a dumbass, and then
I need to be better. I need to do better. I was an architect of that film's disaster. That was on me. And I know other group members didn't pull their weight, and I know Ben sat around like a lazy chud. Both Bens. At the end of the day, I was the man behind the camera. I was the person who had authority over how this film looked for the most part. And
probably it's very hard to do a film like this, especially with me, Crawley, Sam, and Ben haven't worked together as a group in a year at this point. I'd say even when we filmed this, that was our first project of grade 11 as a group together. I'd only worked with Stella at that point, and the three boys had only worked together.
So you were distant from the group that was Sam, repurposing myself. Why was that? Are you more of a girl's girl, you would say? Girl's guy?
I'd say it was mostly how the cookie crumbled. We had to be in even groups. The boys were all in one group. I went to the other group. Didn't really matter. We made films. That was the point.
So you hate men?
Damn, I didn't know I hated myself. No. To do a film like this that's so personal, you either really need to know what you're doing or you need to be together.
Blah, 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 blah. Anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna come beat you.
Again, weird question, but overall, did you have fun?
Yeah. I act. Like, it was not my first time actually, but I act and it was pretty fun. No. What? You guys didn't have fun?
Did I have fun? What do you define as fun, you know? Like, I want to know what you mean by fun, because I was...
Amusement,
you know...
lightheartedness.
I felt every emotion possible while making that, and, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. No comment, to be frank.
Really? And fun?
Like, what do you mean fun?
Like, did you enjoy that experience?
What experience?
The making of hills.
Writing the first draft I enjoyed.
Okay, thank you for your time, Stella.
Yeah. I had rice and a half. I enjoyed filming.
None of us did! This last question, I think, is very necessary. Overall, did you have fun?
What kind of fucking question is that? What the fuck was this anyway? What kind of question is that? This is all. Come on. All of that was building up to that question. Really? Was it fun? I'm done with this. I'm done.